Most people believe having a job means earning money, safety, and progress, especially in the US, UK, and Europe. But what if your job is silently costing you more than it pays every year? According to multiple reports, millions of workers lose thousands just to show up daily. But the truth behind where that money really goes will shock you more than the number itself. Today, you will uncover 3 hidden realities most workers never calculate: the commuter trap draining income, the growing gap between salary and real costs, and the system quietly keeping this cycle alive. This is not about laziness or poor choices, and it is not financial advice, but a realistic story built from facts, patterns, and everyday life most people recognize instantly. Once you see how the math truly works, your paycheck will never look the same again, because the problem is not your effort, it is the structure behind modern work. Let me show you exactly how this happened, step by step, starting with something so normal you probably never questioned it once. Every morning across the world, alarms ring before sunrise, people rush through routines, grab keys, and step into traffic, trains, or buses, believing this sacrifice is simply the price of success. This daily commute feels ordinary because everyone does it, but ordinary habits can still be expensive, especially when repeated hundreds of times every single year without being measured. Cities expanded, offices centralized, and housing moved farther away, creating distance between earning money and living life, a shift that quietly reshaped work without asking workers for consent. Distance sounds harmless, but distance has a price, and that price is paid using time, energy, money, and opportunities you never see listed on your offer letter. Here is the first small surprise: your salary looks fixed, but the cost of keeping that salary grows every year with fuel prices, rent increases, inflation, and longer working hours. Sources suggest wages in many regions fail to keep up with these rising costs, creating a gap that slowly eats away real income while workers feel busier than ever before. Now imagine 2 people earning the same salary on paper, living in the same country, doing similar work, yet ending the year with very different savings and stress levels. One works from home or nearby, the other commutes daily, and that single difference changes how much life costs them, even though their paychecks look identical. Now here's where things get really interesting, because the biggest cost of commuting is not fuel, tickets, or parking, it is time, the only resource you never get back. A 1-hour commute each way becomes 10 hours every week, over 500 hours each year, time you are awake, alert, and giving to work without pay. If you earn $20 per hour, those unpaid hours equal about $10,000 before spending a single dollar on transportation, food, or work-related expenses. Most people never calculate this because time feels invisible, but once converted into money, the loss becomes impossible to ignore, and suddenly the job looks very different. But if you think that is shocking, wait until you notice how commuting quietly increases spending in ways that feel small but add up faster than expected. Tired workers buy convenience food, daily coffee, quick lunches, and snacks, not because they want to waste money, but because exhaustion removes the energy to choose cheaper options. $5 a day feels harmless, yet over a year it becomes more than $1,000. Repeated across meals, drinks, and small comforts that feel deserved after long days. Then come clothes, grooming, childcare extensions, and stress spending, each cost justified alone, but together forming a powerful drain tied directly to the job itself. According to personal finance researchers, these hidden job costs exist globally and scale with distance, meaning the farther you travel to work, the more your income quietly shrinks. But wait, there is another layer most workers never see. Employers calculate pay using gross salary, not the real cost required for you to perform the job daily. This creates an illusion of fair compensation while shifting the burden of time, money, and stress onto workers who feel something is wrong but cannot clearly explain why. Some high-paying jobs actually deliver lower real value after costs, while lower-paying jobs closer to home quietly outperform them financially, a truth rarely celebrated or taught. Social pressure rewards bigger numbers, titles, and offices, not smarter setups, pushing people deeper into the commuter trap without questioning whether the trade is truly worth it. And we have not yet reached the most expensive part of all, the cost that connects time, money, stress, and long-term life choices into one powerful force. Because the biggest loss caused by your job is not listed on your bank statement, but it shapes every decision you make outside of work. This brings us to the most shocking discovery of all, and once you see it clearly, the entire system behind modern work starts to look very different. So what does all this mean for us today, especially for workers trying to build stability, freedom, and a better future in an economy that feels harder every single year? The hidden cost of work does not just drain money, it shapes decisions, limits options, and quietly controls where people live, what risks they take, and how much energy remains after work ends. When time is consumed by commuting, people delay learning new skills, starting side projects, or building businesses that could change their financial path long term. Sources suggest this is one reason productivity rises while personal wealth stagnates, because energy is spent surviving the work system instead of escaping it. Here is a subtle pattern most never notice. Jobs with long commutes often lock people into fixed routines that reduce flexibility, creativity, and long-term opportunity. Workers come home tired, scroll screens, sleep, and repeat, not because they lack discipline, but because the system already took their best hours. This is where work-life balance stops being a buzzword and becomes a financial issue, because exhausted people make safer choices that rarely improve income. But wait, there is another twist hidden inside this story that changes everything once you see it clearly. The commuter trap also increases dependency on the job itself, because leaving feels risky when so much time and money is already invested just to keep it. This creates a loop where workers tolerate stress, low raises, or poor conditions because the cost of change feels higher than the cost of staying. According to workplace studies, people often stay in unsatisfying jobs not because of pay, but because logistics feel overwhelming. Distance, schedules, and routine become invisible chains that rarely appear in career advice or job descriptions. Now zoom out and look at the system level. Cities depend on commuting to function. Businesses rely on worker presence, and entire industries profit from daily travel, food, fuel, and convenience spending. This does not require bad intentions or conspiracy, just momentum, incentives, and systems built decades ago that no longer match modern technology or human limits. Remote work exposed this reality briefly, showing many jobs could function without daily travel, saving workers money and time almost instantly. But as offices reopened, the old structure returned, pulling people back into routines that benefit systems more than individuals. This is the climax moment where everything connects: time loss, money loss, stress, and reduced opportunity all stem from the same source. Your job may not be underpaying you on paper, but the structure around it may be extracting value in ways no paycheck shows. That is the real cost of work, and it explains why earning more often still feels like falling behind. So what can be learned from this, without giving advice or telling anyone what to do? The first lesson is awareness, because numbers you never calculate will always control outcomes you do not understand. The second lesson is comparison, not between salaries, but between lifestyles, distances, and real net outcomes after costs. And the third lesson is time respect, because once time is gone, no raise can buy it back. Before we wrap up, there's one final thing you need to know that most discussions completely ignore. This system only works because people believe the struggle is personal, not structural. Once workers compare notes and see the shared pattern, the story shifts from individual failure to collective design. That shift alone can change how people evaluate jobs, success, and progress going forward. Your job is not evil, and work itself is not the enemy. But understanding the full cost of earning money is the difference between running faster and actually moving forward. If this opened your eyes, remember the story we started with: people working harder than ever yet feeling poorer every year. That feeling now has a shape, a cause, and a name. The commuter trap is not just about travel, it is about invisible costs hiding inside normal life. And once you see them, you gain something powerful: clarity. Clarity changes questions, and better questions lead to better decisions over time. So here is a quick recap before you go. Jobs cost more than salaries suggest. Commuting drains time and money, and systems reward appearances over real value. If you want to understand money better, question what you trade for it. If this story helped you see work differently, like the video so more people see it too. Subscribe for deeper stories that explain money, systems, and hidden rules shaping everyday life. And comment below with one question. How much do you think your job really costs you each year once everything is counted? Like, subscribe, share.